Hey there guys, it's Chris from GamerLeaks. Sony's president and CEO says the PlayStation Portal has been a strong and profitable peripheral, which has people talking about a potential next handheld, and may have led to a leak confirming the device along with a launch window. But first, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Here at GamerLeaks, we are working towards super fast coverage of hot topics in the gaming industry, and we appreciate your support while we make that a reality, as we are a humble startup YouTube channel at the moment. So we appreciate any support you give and look forward to meeting you in the comments below. As always with leaks, take everything here with a grain of salt. All right, let's get into it. Over on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, we see Ice Popsicle Dragon posted, new PlayStation Portable is coming around PS6 launch. Xbox Hardware Insider on NeoGAF says, some sources told him there's indeed a full PlayStation Portable console coming, and it's currently scheduled to release around the same time as the PlayStation 6. Let's check out the sources here though. Alright, over on NeoGAF, we can see the conversation started with a post saying that the president and CEO of PlayStation had called the PlayStation Portable a strong and profitable peripheral that they will continue to focus on. So, obviously, handheld devices are working out for them with the PlayStation Portable, and yeah, they're gonna keep on working on them, which is a great sign, especially for those who miss maybe the PSP or PS Vita days. Maybe we're gonna get something a little bit closer to that, a little bit more capable than the PlayStation Portable. The PlayStation Portable, for those who don't know, it can only stream your games from your PlayStation. They can't actually play any of them locally, which they could still be talking about a device that only streams. But it definitely has people excited that it could be a little bit more or a little bit more improved than what we currently got. So if the simpler only streaming version of the PlayStation Portable that has a couple complaints from users, like the fact that it doesn't have any memory on board, and it doesn't, you can't connect any Bluetooth devices to it. So if they're going to take this already pretty successful device for them and improve on it, well, that's definitely something to keep your eye on. It definitely has us excited here. This isn't the leak, though. This is just the Sony president and CEO talking about how successful the PlayStation Portal is, which got the conversation started. If we then scroll down a little bit as the conversation goes on NeoGAF, we can see we get to right here. Heisenberg FX4 posts a simple GIF saying it's coming. Now, users on the site said, oh, well, you know, give me a little bit more than that. So then he later down here says, a full-blown PS handheld is coming. Users on the site then asked him, do you have your own sources on that? To which he replies, I do. Other users then asked, could you give us a guesstimate or a time frame? Is it going to be soon? People are definitely excited about this. He then replies, timing-wise, somewhere around PS6 launch. All right, so there you go. That is the supposed leak on the next PlayStation Portable. But who is this Heisenberg FX4? And can he be trusted? Is he a good leak source here? Because he didn't actually post any source. He just says he does have his own sources. So let's look into this Heisenberg here for a second. All right, back on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, Renome says, who is Heisenberg FX4? The people on Icon Era describe him as a credible leaker, but I can't find a single instance of him leaking anything. To which some other users reply, me neither. They can't really find much on him. They don't really trust the things that he's posted on NeoGAF. So right now it's looking like maybe this isn't a great source for future updates on the PlayStation Portable. But not everyone is so suspicious of Heisenberg. Entire Cheek 9910 says it came from the Heisenberg poster, who has a legit track record. If he says something is happening, then it is. Case 1987 below says people don't seem to believe it, even though everything he says happens. Entire Cheek 910 then replies again, yep, he was one of the first people to talk about Xbox third-party plans a couple years ago, which we all know definitely ended up happening. So is he credible? Is he not credible? I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. People are definitely having mixed feelings about this poster. Along with talking about the credibility of this supposed leak on NeoGAF, some other people had some other opinions about the future of PlayStation Portable and maybe what they'd like to see with the next PSP, PlayStation Vita 2, whatever it ends up being, PlayStation Portal 2. Brian Scalliwini says, if it doesn't use overpriced proprietary memory cards, then I don't want it. Which, for those who don't know, is a funny reference to how the PS Vita had their own proprietary memory cards from Sony that really didn't need to be there. It could have just been an SD card. In fact, there were some workarounds in order to use a regular micro SD card. You had to jump through some hoops on the PlayStation Portal to make that happen, but it was possible. And it shouldn't have been that way out of the box. So that's that's a really funny reference that he has there regarding the next PlayStation Portal here. Lock_5 says, I'm going to be rolling on the floor laughing if Sony releases another handheld that's more powerful than the new Switch, but 1.5 times the cost and completely fails to support it with software again. Again, talking about referencing the PS Vita. Down below, OK Hospital 4928 says, it'll likely just be compatible with your existing PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 library. They won't be splitting development for console and handheld like they've done in the past, which honestly, I really hope so. And I think it kind of is leaning towards that direction with the PlayStation Portal being, a handheld version of the games that you already play. But yeah, I really hope this is the case because that would be great in order to play your games mobile, kind of like you can already with the Switch. You can play the same games on the TV as you can in your hand. That's what we want, and it looks like that's the direction they're headed. Loud Examination _138 says, I love my PS Vita and still use it, so I'm down for this. Hopefully it ends up being a good device. Yeah, and I completely agree. Obviously, there's a high demand for PlayStation Portable, being able to play your games from the PlayStation portably. There's still a good demand for it. You know, they stopped in between after the PS Vita. They took a break from making handheld devices before releasing the PlayStation Portal. And because the PlayStation Portal is working out for them so well, that's a great sign that they're going to keep going. And I really hope they really innovate on what they already have and end up making a really good device. All right. One last really funny post from Piperoo. Sony, if you are listening, here's what we want. Proprietary memory cards that are really expensive. Once again, mentioning the PlayStation Vita. Proprietary charging cable. USB-C is for rejects. Almost zero launch support. Zero internal storage. At least a 200% markup from the cost to manufacture it. Do all this and you'll have a real winner. Yeah, so this is kind of making fun of a lot of different things from PlayStation Vita to the PlayStation Portal with no storage and the 200% markup. For those who don't know, the proprietary charging cable, another reference to the Vita, it had this really strange USB connector cable. Not sure why they went with that and not, USB-C wasn't really big at the time, but, they could at least gone with a regular USB cable there. But instead they went with proprietary, along with the memory cards as well, which was definitely a bad move on Sony's part there. So hopefully this next one, obviously, this guy doesn't want any of these things to actually be in the next device. Hopefully the next device has internal storage, has USB-C as the charging cable, it can take regular micro SD cards, and most importantly, gets launch support and continued support as the device goes through the next couple of years. All right, guys, let me know what you think down below about the next PlayStation Portable or the possibility of a PlayStation Portable. What would you want in the device? What would you not want? Don't forget to give the video a like or a dislike. And if you want to see our continued coverage of hot gaming topics, news, and leaks, of course, please consider subscribing. But that's all I have for you today. Again, I am Chris from Gamer Leaks, and we'll see you in the next one.